Welcome back to another installment of In Any Arena. If you like our content, give us that CLS treatment, that comment, that like, and subscribe. And again, thank you for watching. Let's get into it.
Even if they're not popular. What we need from you guys is we need you guys to give us a little love and do what exactly, Dub?
Give us that CLS treatment, that comment, that like, subscribe. Again, trying to reach broader audiences, trying to grow our channel. So if you're rocking with the content, go ahead and hit that subscribe button.
For sure. Let's get into it. So, I mean, it's got to be a lot of pressure. Your dad being one of the greatest players ever, your dad going straight from high school to the NBA, which isn't really allowed anymore. They created rules where it's kind of easy. You can go play for overtime elite. You can go to the G League, which is like being a professional player. It is being a professional player. So they circumvented this whole 1 year in college and done rule in many ways. You can even go pro overseas, like we saw with the Ball brothers. Um, so, I mean, there's a lot of buzz around Bronny. And again, we saw a couple weeks ago a big time matchup between Sierra Canyon, Bronny James featured on that team, and Christ the King, straight out of Queens, New York, with Carmelo Anthony, Kanye Anthony being featured on that team, which was a really cool matchup, I would say, from watching it. Carmelo Anthony is one of my favorite basketball players, and I remember growing up seeing the battle between Oak Hill and St. Vincent St. Mary when Carmelo Anthony was a senior, LeBron James was a junior, and I just remember that battle and how big it was. And, it wasn't that often the high school games were played on ESPN, but seeing that, I was just like, yo, this is crazy. Carmelo rocked the 22. 22 was my favorite number. I even have his Oak Hill jersey here at the crib. But yeah, that was big. So it was really dope, a dope moment to see their sons play each other. Of course, Sierra Canyon won that game. But the thing we're here to talk about here today, Dub, is not so much should Bronny go to the league, but what should be next for Bronny James? Your kid, you already got some NI deals. He's already rocking with FaZe Clan. His dad is LeBron James. So that's one in itself. But we've seen some, child superstars or children of superstars, and kind of how their career trajectories have went. There's a lot of pressure with it. We saw Michael Jordan's son, who played at UCF,
And he
and
he was actually pretty decent. I thought
he
he was
was
pretty
he was
decent.
decent. We saw it with Scottie Pippen, whose son also played at Sierra Canyon, and who's now in the G League on
Sharif
the Lakers.
O'Neal.
Yeah, Lakers G League team. We saw Kenyon Martin's son, who also played at Sierra Canyon, who's playing for the Houston Rockets. Sharif O'Neal, who's dealt with a couple of injuries, had the heart condition.
Yeah.
It kind of took a few seasons away from him, but he's still on his journey as well. So what's the deal? What should Bronny do, Rick? What are your
I
thoughts on
think I think Bronny should just go to college. There's still a lot of development that I think Bronny needs to go through in
right?
order to possibly make it to the league. I do hope that he has another growth spurt and get up to at least about 6'5", 6'6". But the dude is super athletic. I mean, it has to be like 42, 43.
It's crazy.
He can shoot. He's a great passer. He's a great overall team player, and he plays really good defense. And so I think he'll do well, somewhere like Duke. I think, if he picks somewhere like
Yeah,
Duke,
for
where he
sure.
can come and thrive and, you know, make the Blue Devils, a national contender. I think that'll be great. I saw him in the Ohio State jersey. Just didn't look right to me. So I definitely think him, taking advantage of the NIL programs, especially, I mean, if I were a star athlete going, I could play, possibly go to the pros. Man, I'll probably have to do a smooth 2 to 3 years because the NIL deals, they making these kids millionaires, man, early.
Right.
So it's like now I can stay in college and develop even more without having the pressure of going to the league, and possibly not meeting expectations or and such. So I think Bronny should go ahead and continue what he's doing. He seems like a very good young man. I think LeBron and Savannah are doing a great job raising that young man. And I just hope that he continues to keep his head on straight, continue to stay focused on his game and his craft, and continue just to develop as a human being and as a young man.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yo, I gotta agree with you. I think college is the move for Bronny. You know, a lot of young men who are faced with this decision are in pretty dire situations to where, you know, part of the reason why they have the dream is to create a different life for their families who might be living in poverty, they might be in single parent homes, different disparities of which they're trying to compensate for by making it to the league and doing so as early as possible. Bronny
Hmm.
doesn't have those types of issues, being the son of LeBron James. And also, you know, like you said, with the NIL, now that kids are able to earn based on their name, image, and likeness. As such, there's not as much pressure to go to the league either because there are ways that you can get deals in order to provide if you needed to do so. But again, that's not an issue for Bronny James. And like you pointed out so eloquently, Dub, just simply the development piece. I think he's a great player. I know he has that competitive fire. We can see that in the highlights and in the games that we've been able to watch. He has that athletic prowess, like you said, vertical off the charts, jumping out the gym, basically. Really, when I watch him play, he reminds me of a young Westbrook. He says he wears the number 0 because of Westbrook, and that's honestly what I see in a lot of his game, more so than
But he can actually
LeBron.
shoot, and he's more of a team player, if you ask me. Like he's willing to do whatever it takes for the teams to succeed. It took Westbrook a while to buy into
Well,
coming off the
wait a
bench.
second. Wait a second. Wait a second. Wait a second. Westbrook gets a bad rap. Well,
I'm not saying
two
he's
things there. Two things there we got to hit on. You said except he can shoot. Now Westbrook can shoot. Did we go back to UCLA? If we go back to UCLA, okay, okay. We're gonna have to do a whole nother video
let,
where we
let's
look
let,
at the
let's
numbers.
let's table. Let's talk about Westbrook shooting
We'll look
numbers.
at the
Westbrook
numbers.
cannot shoot.
I said he could. At one point, his numbers were good. At one point. At one point, his numbers were good. Maybe not right now, but at one point,
I digress.
I
Let's
said a
table
young
it.
Westbrook. And Westbrook was a team player, bro. Like, I mean, I don't know where he gets. I think sometimes we'll just touch on this briefly. I think sometimes in sports we villainize certain people. LeBron had to wear that villain cape for a while, and because of what he did when he went to Miami, we villainize certain people, and as a result of that, we vilify them for everything they do. And Westbrook is one of those guys, but he reminds me of Westbrook with his gameplay. Like you said, I would like to see him grow a couple more inches. I think he's 6'3" right now. But even at 6'3", I mean, there's been shorter guards that still going to do their thing. I think if he gets a
Yeah,
dead eye shot to where, like, you know, money from three, I think he's going to be a very effective NBA player. We definitely know he's going to the NBA. I think there's no question about it. Does he need to take the overtime elite or G League, you know, route right now? I would say no. I
yeah,
would say
don't
that's
do
not the
that.
best route. Go to college, really engulf yourself in the college culture, enjoy it, have fun, and when it's time to go to the league, you know, hopefully you get to play with your pops. Is
Absolutely.
all
Well,
out.
the way LeBron looking, LeBron got another five in him. Cause boy,
Man, the way he's looking, he does. With the way he's talking, he doesn't. Yeah, so I don't know if you saw the interview last night after the game, after the loss, where he was just talking about, hey, you know, basically kind of throwing the white flag out there on the season. Like, I don't know if I can keep doing this. When you got into a certain level and won championships, I just want to win. It's not about personal stats. And I think, you know, again, I'm always a proponent of talking about the impacts of social media. If we didn't have social media, I think guys in the NBA, the NFL, MLB, whatever league they're in, guys wouldn't care as much about losing. I mean, I'm sure as a competitor, you care about losing. I'm not saying that. So before you go in the comments and say something crazy about I never played sports, I never did this, stop your cap. What I'm saying is that it's all of the societal pressures around losing that you go, you play your heart out one night. You've already played 40 games. You got a slate of 40, 42 more games that you got to finish. And you wake up the next morning and everybody on social media is talking about your performance from last night. You shot 2 for 12. And do you still got it? There are a million sports shows, including in the arena, where they're going to talk about what you've done over the past 10 games. First Take
Absolutely.
is on, and you walk in the kitchen and your kids are watching First Take, and they're talking about how terrible you playing this season. And then that goes off, and you got Around the Horn on talking about you. So it's all of these different outlets that we've created around sports that make losing so bad, to where when you're losing, you can't seem to stop hearing about the fact that you're losing. You can't get on your phone without seeing people on social media talking about it. You can't turn on the TV. You can't go look at the newspaper. There's nothing you can do to get away from the fact that you're losing.
Mm.
And I think that LeBron is just dealing with the effects of that. But we saw it with Kobe. I mean, Kobe went through some down seasons with the Lakers where he didn't have a lot of help. They didn't have great teams around him. We saw it with a lot of great players, so it's just a part of it. But I do agree with you. I feel like at the level LeBron is playing at, it's a Tom Brady type situation. I don't know when it'll be done. I don't know when it'll be over for LeBron. So hopefully, like I said, I know he said it's a dream of his. Hopefully, him and Bronny get to suit up together one day.
Absolutely. That'd be dope.
Maybe it'll be for the Charlotte Hornets.
Shit.
Yeah, man. Just throwing a little joke in there, y'all, man. Again, me and Doug were from Charlotte, so had to shout out the Hornets, shout out LaMelo and everybody out there balling for the Hornets right now.
I feel bad for those guys, man.
Yeah, yeah. It might make the playoffs. It's possible. Possible.
Well, hey, people, audience, we putting a bow on this thing. Again, if you rocking with our content, you know what to do. We're gonna emphasize it over and over and over and over and over again. Give us that CLS treatment, that comment, that like, and subscribe. And we will be back again in any arena. Till next time.
Peace.